Mr. John Peter Kribakaran, Founder, Chairman, United International Educational Institutions, Managing Committee members of United International School, Ms. Betesha Jacob, Principal, United Composite PU College, teachers, parents, and graduating students. A very good evening to each and every one of you. It's a pleasure for me to be here. Let me start my talk with a question. Have you ever slept under an open sky like this? If you would have, then you would have known that this universe is full of bright objects. You can see thousands of stars on a dark night. But these stars occupy only a small portion of the galaxy where you are located, called the Milky Way galaxy. So, latest telescopes reveal a huge mysterious universe with billions and billions of stars in the 2 trillion galaxies. They also reveal that some of these stars are moving through space with the speed of light, 186,000 miles per second, like the barracuda fish that goes in the oceans. While some are thrown out into the galaxies because of the gravity of the black holes, some are experiencing titanic explosions. But when did these stars come into existence? When did the first light come into existence? How this dramatic transformation from darkness to light came into a picture? Astronomers have found with the latest telescopes and with sophisticated computer simulations that this transition from darkness to light happened around 380,000 years after the initial start of the universe. They say that the light photons which were trapped were released during the era of recombination. So the Bible says in the very first chapter, everything was formless. Everything that was formless took form, everything that was shapeless took shape, and that which was empty something came into existence from nothing. And the very first thing that came into existence was light. Let there be light was one of the articles I saw in Scientific American magazine. What is light? It is the absence of darkness, right? So there is something cold, unsettling about darkness. We don't like darkness. We all like light, right? Because darkness is very cold. We hate it. You know, during the Second World War, the people of London thought they will all be killed because of the evil giant Germany under the control of Hitler. So what they decided is to hide under darkness. They thought that if we switch off every light during the night, we might not be bombed. So what the government did is it sent an edict to switch off all the lights throughout the whole nation just a few days before the World War II. So it was not for 1 day or 2 days. This darkness, this utter darkness, this blackout was there for 5 long years. For 5 long years, the war-torn British people lived in darkness. And because was there an advantage? Yes, Britain lost only 41,000 people compared to 500,000 of Germany. And though they lived in darkness, but once after 5 years, when the light came into picture, when it was lit, they were all excited. And that's what they understood, the importance of light. We all love light. There is a beautiful poem by little children. I like it a lot. They sing that this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine all the time. Sometimes the simplest things are very profound. It's very important. This little light of mine, all of us have lights. Sometimes we burn it dim. Some of the lights are almost about to fade. But when it is bright, we make it to shine so the whole world will know, right? And so, this little life of ours, let it be light, and let this light so shine that people will look at us and glorify the Heavenly Father. That's what today we read in the Bible verse. Today, the theme of my talk is Shine Your Light. Shine your light and make this world bright. Sometimes, as I said, our lights can become so dim. Why? I wanted to give you 4 reasons today and give the remedy why our lights are becoming dull or dim or about to fade, and how can we make it so bright. Let me tell you an abbreviation, PAFA. That's what I'm going to talk. P stands for procrastination, then A for aptitude, fear, apathy. These are the 4 reasons sometimes our life looks unsuccessful. Sometimes our life looks so dull. The first point, procrastination. Procrastination is the act of delaying, is the act of postponing. It's the act of avoiding things. So procrastination makes us to delay. But why do we procrastinate? Many times you see the students have a lot of things to study. They get stressed out. We have a lot of things before us, so many phone calls, and we don't like to do it. And what we do is the stress makes us to procrastinate. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it next day. So that is one of the main reason people procrastinate. So there is only one main difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful person is the unsuccessful person does so many random things, but the successful person does things very intentionally for a purpose. So when we procrastinate, we do random things and leave out the most important things. That's the very reason we have to avoid this procrastination. We don't take action. We know that something have to be done. We know we have the knowledge of our purpose, of our goal, but we don't take action. There's a gap between knowledge and action. So how could we bridge the gap if we have to avoid procrastination? The only thing is persevere. Perseverance is the only way we can avoid procrastination. And how do we do that? The first step is most important. Take the first step. There is a Chinese proverb that says that the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. So there may be obstacles along the way. There may be frustrations. There may be fears, uncertainties. But if you take your small step with focus, single steps, and that adds up, and finally you can reach your goal. You know, pioneers struggle against all odds. Ask anyone who has achieved success. They would say how they have struggled against every failure. The future is not about luck. It's about how hard you are ready to work for your goals, how hard you are ready to have the purpose, what you have in your life, so close to your heart. You know, when an artist wants to paint a picture, first thing what he has to do is he has to sharpen his pencil. So that is a small step, but unless he does it, he cannot focus it. That's what happens in our life too. You know, Henry Wordsworth Longfellow said, the heights by which great men achieved and kept is not by sudden flight, but while their pinions slept, they were toiling upward the whole night. Yes, it's perseverance that brings success. You know, when the first ever space telescope was launched for an amount of $1.5 billion, it was a huge failure. Instead of sending the beautiful pictures of galaxies, Hubble started to send very dim images, and it was not a successful project. So many scientists who were working on that were harassed. They were humiliated. So many of the senior scientists have to be taken to places to protect them from alcoholism. They were getting into all these things because of stress. But you know, a group of scientists under the leadership of Pellerin, they took it up as a challenge. They sent two sets of astronomers who did back to back spacewalks on the Hubble telescope, which was rotating around 5 miles per second. It's such a high speed. They did spacewalk and they corrected the curvature of the 2.4 meter mirror because there was an error in the mirror. So when they corrected, Hubble started to send huge, beautiful image of distant galaxies. You know, when I went to NASA Goddard Research Center, I could see the next telescope, James Webb Telescope, big mirrors, which was about to replace Hubble. How did these scientists do? They persevered. They never procrastinated. They never told that, let's do it tomorrow. They struggled against all odds and they succeeded. That's what today I wanted to tell you, dear students. I wanted to give you a few suggestions. First, put a plan, what you want to accomplish, and put it in a paper. Second, establish your priorities based on your plan. Number 3, protect your plan and your priorities by keeping the right timing. Don't delay it. You know, sometimes we watch random things in the television for such a long time, but don't do that. Redeem your time. Number 4, live each day as though it is the last day of your life. This thought struck me and became so closer to me when I was stuck with Delta virus a year back and I was going to Manipal hospital. I was wondering if it would have been the last day of my life, what I would have thought as precious, what I would have done in these precious moments. You know, when you live with that way, with eternal significance, you will use your energy, your time for the most important things and the priorities in your life. You will not waste it on unimportant or random things. You will take each and every moment as precious. You will live life to the fullest. That's when the last day of your life, somebody will look at you and say, because of you, my life, you made a difference in my life. I am different because of you. Because you were in this world, something happened to me. You lit a candle in someone's life because of your light. That's what today I wanted to say. Each and everything is most important. Don't procrastinate. The second one is attitude. We have a choice every day regarding the attitude we are taking up. We can have the right attitude or we can have the wrong attitude towards life. The main difference between a person who can shine as a star, who can light others' life, is the attitude. Attitude determines the outcome. Zig Ziglar said, it is not your aptitude that determines your altitude. It's your attitude that determines how high you go. Because everything depends on your attitude. There is a fine line between winning and losing. Many people who are victimized live as victors. But many people who have got opportunities and everything in life, if you see, they live as victims. So that's why Maya Angelou said, if you don't like something, change it. But if you cannot change it, change your attitude about it. Yes. If you change your attitude about it, you will learn to rise above it. Have you seen an eagle? When it knows that the storm is going to come, it will fly to a high place and will wait. And when the storm comes, it will make its wings to fly high and use the storm to fly high. That's what a person with good attitude does. He uses every challenges as an opportunity. Everything as an opportunity. A pessimist sees a challenge and think it as a challenge. But an optimist looks at a challenge and thinks it as an opportunity. That's what Winston Churchill said. I wanted to give you a few examples of people with right attitude and with that, how they got success. Back in the 20th century, the pursuit of man flight was of a great significance. Many people were trying it, and the government gave one person $80,000 to do that. He was Samuel Pierpont Langley. He had $80,000. He had a seat in Harvard. He had so many people to work under him. And New York Times was following him when he will bring out this flight. But 700 miles away, in a small little town called Ohio, two brothers, Orville and Wilbur Wright, nobody knew they worked on that. And one day in December, and suddenly in December time, during the Christmas time, they took up the flight. They could fly. What made the difference? Because they had only one thing, passion. Nothing else. They want to do it. That their attitude towards that work was good. They will make every day 5 parts. They will crash and again use it. They had a bicycle shop. Use that money towards it. They never married. They did everything only towards it. But Samuel Pierpont Langley, once he came to know about these brothers, they took flight. He could have supported. He could have joined them. He just quit. He quit the scene. That's why his name is not known. That's everything about right and wrong attitude. Have you heard of Ludwig van Beethoven? Beautiful music. He says that one of this quote I like, music should strike fire from the heart of a man. It should make a woman to cry, he says. That is the way he composes music. He lived in around 1770. His father taught him music, and at the age of 8 he performed. And he was too beautifully doing, but at the age of 20, a mysterious illness struck him and he lost his hearing. Slowly he started to become deaf. But once he became totally deaf, towards the last 10 years of his life, he composed the most beautiful music ever. How it was possible? His attitude. He never took the defeat. And another story. If you have heard of Abraham Lincoln, you would have known about his humble attitude. When he became the president of America, his father was a shoemaker. So many people, rich men, they were not happy that a shoemaker's son became the president. So when he got up to the stage to give the first presidential address, one of the aristocrats got up and he said, "Mr. Lincoln, you don't forget that your father used to make shoes for my family." Everybody started to laugh. The whole Senate laughed. But Abraham looked at him and said, "Yes, my father made so beautiful shoes. He had a passion for it. And I'm so proud of my father. And he made it so beautiful. If there is any problem in the shoes, I can do it." The whole Senate was dumbstruck because of his attitude towards it. The same way I read about the story of Oziala McCarty, an old woman, black woman from southern Mississippi. She was thrown out of the school because she had to take care of her aunt. She never married. She never had children. She had a torn Bible which she used to all the time stitch it. And one day, towards the end of her life, she gave $150,000 to the University of Southern Mississippi towards the scholarship of poor children. They were all wondering. 70 years she was washing others' clothes, and she saved it and she handed over towards the scholarship. That was her attitude. She invested towards eternal part. She had the life that lived because she knew what is eternal significance. Have a right attitude and live a life that is so beautiful, that gives light to others. The third, fear. Fear of failure, fear of struggle, fear of future, so many fears. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Many times people say imagination is the greatest asset. But sometimes imagination also becomes a problem. We imagine things that will never ever happen. And we will worry, fear of accident, fear of something is going to happen. We often hear words from big people, be careful, be safe, don't go there, don't go here. And all these things have put some fear inside us. And biggest obstacle to success is such fears. And when you live in fear, you feel some weight is holding you. You are not able to move to the future. When you think of the future, you feel a terrible weight. You feel like blaming yourself, or blaming others, or putting the responsibility on others. So that's when what you are supposed to do is remove the weight. Forget your past failures. Move on. Let go of everything. Remove your fear. Bible clearly says, fear not, fear not. So many times you can read. When Jesus came to this world, he the one who created the universe, left everything and came to this puny little world. The angels told those people, you're scared of God? Don't get scared. Fear not. God is not coming in a whirlwind. He is not a distant person. He is going to become a helpless baby to live among you. That's when the angel says, fear not. Fear not. So many fear nots. The next line to fear not is, because I am with you. Yes, fear not, I am with you. That is the important thing. The presence of God removes every fear. In Africa, there is a kind of antelope called impala. Impala can jump a height of 10, and it can jump horizontally around 30 feet. But you put a 3 feet height wall, and you can keep so many impalas. No one will jump. Why? Because if the impala doesn't know where its feet will land, it will never jump. It's born to jump, but couldn't jump. That's what many of our lives is all about. Born to fly high, but we remain. Born to light the world, but we don't light, because we don't conquer our fear. Do you know that our universe is finely tuned? It's so beautifully tuned. Stephen Hawking says that the rate of expansion of the universe, if it would have been smaller by 1 part in 1 quintillion, even now it is expanding at the same rate. If it would have been smaller by that value, the whole universe would have crumbled. Gravity would have pulled everything together. If it would have been big, no stars could have formed. And you would have studied about proton and neutron ratio. If the ratio is little changed, that we will be living in a world with no atoms. Each and every parameter, the 4 fundamental forces, force of gravity, electromagnetic force, strong and weak nuclear force, all are hanging on the knife edge of their existence where a life can exist. So that's why Paul Davies says, not only life on earth is fine-tuned, we are hanging on the knife edge of our existence. Everything is so beautifully tuned. They have focus telescopes on many planets around. They have found around 5,000 exoplanets revolving around various stars. But still now, not even a little microbial life is found anywhere, because our earth is so beautifully tuned for life. Look at your DNA. In a small, tiny bit, there is 3.1 billion bits of information storage. Its DNA is not a complexity that is born out of randomness. It's a complexity that is sophisticated. It's so beautifully done. So when you look at your DNA, you will know that you are beautifully designed. There is no 2-person, even identical twins do not have the same DNA. That's why Anthony Flew, an atheist who wanted to write a book called There Is No God, he struck that no and wrote, There is a God. Astronomer Fred Hoyle says that a super intellect has monkeyed with physics, chemistry, and biology. He's an atheist. He's not able to believe why everything is fine-tuned, why we are so beautifully designed. So that's why today I wanted to tell you, come out of fear. There are no accidents in God's universe. There is no coincidence. Everything has a purpose. Everything is beautifully designed. Your life has a purpose. So search for the purpose, what you're here. So you are made so beautifully. You're wonderfully and fearfully made. I don't know where you are now, what failures you have taken up, or what has knocked you down. But it is not the end. Do not quit. It's just the beginning. Because many times when we think that our life has come to an end, that marks the beginning. Our Creator has left His fingerprints on each and every one of us. The fact that you are alive here, even amidst so many problems, is because there is a purpose in each and every one of our life. So let your light shine. Allow your candle to shine bright. So the last one is apathy. Pathy is passion. Apathy is a life with no passion, no interest, no feelings, no dream. You're just living because you are born to live. You're here. When I had to do this cholesterol test, I took the results and showed it to my second son, who is an infectious disease doctor in New York. He looked at it and he said, "You are prone to get heart attack." I was shocked. What? Yes, if you continue to eat chocolates, if you continue to eat sweets and don't do your exercise, that's what is going to happen. That's what your value says. Yes, if you continue without doing anything which is right, that is the place of apathy. So the place of apathy is where we don't do what is supposed to be done. We take the least resistance path. So that is the place many of us live. I wanted to tell you today, don't take that path of least resistance. Dream big, dream high. Dream is not the one that you see with your eyes closed, but dream is the one that you see when your eyes are open. That's what Abdul Kalam says. Because, Martin Luther King said, there are a lot of things I had and I lost it. But some things I handed over to God, I still possess it. Give it in God's hands, your dream, and He will give you a better dream. You are His dream. C.S. Lewis said, when about prayer in one of his book, they tell me, Lord, only one voice is heard, and you are not there. All these things are just my voice. People can hear only my voice, that it's not your voice. But I say, Lord, if there is only one voice, it's not my voice. They say that I am dreaming about. I am not dreaming, God. You are the dreamer, and I am your dream. Yes, we are the dream of God. God has a dream for each and every one of us. Let's come out of our apathy, our procrastination, our fear, our pain, everything, and look to the great plan what God has for us. On December 10, 1914, there was a massive fire in West Orange, New Jersey, and 10 buildings belonging to the great inventor Thomas Alva Edison was burning. So many fire extinguishers came, and Thomas Alva Edison also joined them, and they were trying to extinguish a chemical fire, but nothing was happening. It was burning. So Thomas Alva Edison calmly stood at one place and he was watching the fire. His son Charlie came and stood next to him. And Thomas Alva Edison looked at him and said, "Charlie, call your mom. It's a spectacular fire." So Charlie was shocked. "Dad, it is our factory that is getting burnt." But Thomas Alva Edison said, "Yes, it's all my hard work which has gone so many years. But do not worry, it's our mistakes also is getting burnt. We will rebuild again. We will rebuild again." And they worked hard and rebuilt whatever has been lost. Often this is the way that many times our dreams get shattered. Our life goes towards the end. But great people do not cry. They rise up. Great people do not go down. They rise high. They go beyond whatever has destroyed them, whatever has shattered them. They rise above the ashes. The main difference between a person of excellence and a mediocre is he knows why he is doing. If a person can tell how he is doing, he is an ordinary person. But if a person can tell why he is doing what he is doing, he is a great person. Today, know why you are here. What's the purpose you are here? And this apathy, what I was talking about, is a very important thing. Researchers have found recently a fish called Mexican tetrafish. They called it as blind fish because they live in caves. So they searched for a similar fish which is not in caves. They had eyes. So they were wondering how these fishes have lost their eyes. Then they understood that if you live in a cave, it will be very pitch dark. There is no need to fight against predators. No need to go and search after food. But you have to conserve your energy. So what happened is the place where the bone sockets, the eye sockets, the bones, everything got dissolved. And in that place, fat got accumulated. So the same way, if you don't use it, you will lose it. Many times as we grow old, sometimes we don't read it. I started to read more and more. At the age of 40, I finished my PhD. That's when I started to write 2 books, Beyond the Boundaries of Science, Exploring the Cosmic Story, that shows how earth is beautifully designed, how our life is so beautifully done. And the next book as for women, When the Flame Flickers, and also 2 technical books, because all are in different domains. I studied engineering in electronics and communication, but I finished my master's and PhD in aerospace, and then I wrote book on social science, and I wrote book on cosmology. Then I understood, if you don't use your power, you are going to lose it. If you read, if you continue to read, you will improve it. Life is either a daring adventure or it's nothing. Your dreams are worthwhile. So dream big. You are his masterpiece. If you would have heard Dr. Martin Luther King, he never told everybody, do this, do that, 10 steps to success. He just said, I believe, I dream, I dream. And 500,000 people showed up to listen to his talk in the Mall of Washington, D.C. They never had WhatsApp. They never had anything. But how come so many people showed up? Because he said, I believe, I believe, I believe. And in that, I have a dream talk. I like one line so much. The one that I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a place where they will not be judged for their color, but for the content of their character. That was the power of his dream. He dreamt that there will be no difference between black and white, and it happened. If you have heard about storm, you would have known what is storm surge. There was a storm called Irma. It came in Florida. So before the storm, the people observed that in the beach, the water started to recede back. It went so back that Tampa Bay was empty. So people got scared that it might come so powerfully high, the waves can come. The same way waves came so high in our life also. Sometimes like the storm surge, something will pull us back. Something will pull us down. But like that storm surge is coming, something we will rise high. How much ever we were pulled back, we will come high much more than that. That's what storm surge is about. In your life also, there is a storm surge that's going to come. In my life, sometimes I felt I was pulled down. I was so depressed. I was angry on God. 15 years back, I was walking towards the path of suicide. I never thought, now I can never imagine how it could have been possible that I lived in a state of depression for many years, almost a decade, because I was asking for a prayer request for 20 long years when I was living in violence, but nothing happened. I felt God did not listen to my prayers. When I asked for me, when I asked for others, it was happening. So I thought, if He's a loving God, if He's a good God, why He doesn't listen to prayers? And that's when I decided, might be there is no God. Might be, even if He's a God, He might be like a distant uncle or a stepfather sort. So I was angry on God. But I was doing my PhD that time. I was doing my compre. I got a high fever. I never bothered. And it ended up in a massive pneumonia. When I was admitted in Malaya Hospital, they found that my both lungs had gone. So they had to put me on a ventilator. I was happy to die. But in that ventilator, God showed that I have a purpose in my life. I thought I was the best person, but every mistake I had done came in front of me as a movie. And from the cross, blood of Jesus came and covered it. And I heard a voice, I'm giving you a new life. All the 5 days I was there, I felt His presence. I felt His embrace. I came back home. Something was telling me to read the Bible. I was a Christian from the beginning, but I never read the Bible except Psalm 23, Psalm 91. And I started to read from cover to cover. The words came so powerfully and started speaking to me. It started speaking to me, and in 6 months, I came out of my depression. And I started, my life in a different way. Did Master of Divinity, I did my Christian studies, I'm doing my PhD in theology again. So all these things, God told that He has a dream for me. I thought I had no dream, but now my dreams are different. So might be your dreams have died. You might have thought that it has gone to graveyard, but today dare to dream again. God has a definite purpose for your life, and you put your hand into the hand of God, and you can walk in the darkest path as though there is a light. That's what I wanted to say. God's divine plan, the beautiful orchestration, sometimes happens through struggles. Michelangelo's painting, if he was sculptors, when he does it, he takes a marble and he removes the unnecessary parts. He looks into the marble and his images come beautifully in front of him, and he removes the unnecessary things. It's called as captives. That's what God looks into our lives, and He chips away the unnecessary things because of using struggles in our life. Today, if you are going to struggle, think that God is looking into your life so intently. And that's why I wanted to advise you today. Let your light shine. So the 4 things, do not forget. Do not procrastinate. Persevere. The second, have the right attitude. Third, do not fear because God is with you. And that's why you can have hope. Fourth, do not get into apathy. Dare to dream. Have a passionate life. You're made to live a passionate, a beautiful life. Look at the bumblebee. Look at the rain. Enjoy the smell of the rain. The beautiful little flower. The smile of a little baby. Learn to live life to the fullest, that when you get out of this world, somebody will say that you made a difference. Thank you.